In a quiet coastal village, where the wind carried the scent of salt and lavender, there lived a painter named Elio. He painted only at dawn, with one brush, in silence. Each morning, one painting, no more. His art lived everywhere. On chapel walls, shop signs. Even behind old wooden shutters. Children would gather and ask, "Why don't you sign your name?" Elio only smiled and said, "Beauty doesn't need a name to exist." Years passed. His work found its way into distant cities. Florence, Venice. Admired by nobles, praised by strangers. One autumn evening, a wealthy merchant arrived. "Name your price," he said. "I'll make you famous, in Florence, Venice, even Rome." Elio looked at the scroll, then at his paint-stained hands, and said quietly, "If my art must be owned to be remembered, then I'd rather it be forgotten." That winter, Elio vanished. Some say he died. Others, that he walked into the sea. But when spring returned, a new painting appeared on the chapel wall. No one saw who made it. No name. No signature. Just light. And so, even without a name, his art never truly left. True value does not lie in fame, but in the mark we leave on the hearts of others. Humility can be a quiet form of glory. Art, like memory, can live on forever, even without applause. The Forgotten Gatekeeper. In the southern hills of Tuscany, where pine trees hum soft lullabies to the wind, there stood an old monastery, home to a library so vast, people said it could swallow time itself. Few remembered the gatekeeper. Not a monk. Not a scholar. Just Angelo. He didn't read. He didn't write. But he opened the grand doors. And he closed them. Every morning. Every night. For years, and years, and years. One afternoon, a young scholar, bright-eyed, full of words, asked, "Why don't you read anything? There are thousands of books here." Angelo smiled gently and replied, "If everyone reads, who will keep the silence?" Then came the winter night. Snow fell slow and soft. And a stranger arrived. A black cloak. 3 knocks. A quiet voice. "I haven't come to read. I've come with a question. In all these books, is there one that holds a soul?" Angelo didn't answer right away. He turned and walked deep into the library. He didn't fetch a book. Instead, he touched the chair where thousands had sat. The brass candle holder. The old page, left open. And then he whispered, "All the souls are here. Not inside the books, but in those who read them." The stranger bowed his head once, and left. Vanished into the snow. The next morning, Angelo was gone. But the doors to the great library, they were always open. Even though no one stood there to open them. And so, the story fades into the quiet night. Rest well, and may your dreams carry the wisdom of forgotten pages. Welcome to the Golden Quill. A place where old stories breathe again in the hush of the night. Here, each evening brings a journey, into the past, into forgotten memories, into whispers the world once left behind. Perhaps down a quiet street in Florence, or within a letter never sent, or in a moment so small, it changed everything. So take a deep breath. Close your eyes. And let the story find you. The Watchmaker of Florence. On a quiet night in the city of Florence, as candle flames danced in the gentle breeze and the church bells echoed across red-tiled roofs, an old man lived alone in the highest room of an ancient clock shop. Down a small street near the central square of Florence, lived Giovanni, an elderly watchmaker, in the tiny attic above his shop. Each day, he carefully repaired antique timepieces with trembling but meticulous hands. Locals whispered that each watch he restored could somehow preserve the memories of its owner. No one knew if it was true or just a tale for sleepless nights, but everyone believed his clocks always ticked in harmony with the owner's heart. One autumn evening, a young boy knocked on his door. In his hands was an old, rusted pocket watch. "Can you fix the time?" the boy asked softly. "My father has passed, but I want to keep the last moment I had with him." Giovanni studied the watch, then looked into the boy's clear, hopeful eyes. He asked no further questions. That night, he did not sleep. With quiet focus, he opened the watch, cleaned every jewel, reset every gear, as if he were gently turning time itself backward. When the boy returned the next morning, Giovanni placed the polished watch in his hands and said, "Now you can hear your father's time whenever you wish, but remember, don't live forever in the past." The boy smiled, his tears silent but bright. Giovanni sat quietly, gazing through the window as the morning light spilled in, as if he, too, had wandered back to a memory long asleep. Time never truly stops. But there are moments, if held with the heart, that never fade. And perhaps the old watchmaker of Florence knew that better than anyone.